in a galaxy far, far away.
So sometimes a idea for content just kind of drops into your lap and you suddenly realize what you're looking at. What I'm going to discuss for you guys today is why the acolyte is already failing. And when you look at the numbers of views, that's the key. When you look at dislikes and likes collected together, that's another key, but let's go. So the last thing they posted on Star Wars channel was called Evolve. And it's, I think, the villain, I'm not sure. And here's the deal. Look at the views. The likes and dislikes make just over 8,000. That's bad. Look at the official trailer, and it's up to 79% dislikes. The comments are up to 60,000, fuck this shit. Okay, look at this one, 243,000, that's not good. 56% dislikes, but the key is the views. Then you look at this one, official clip, only 314 views, to 314,000 views. So these guys, there's Rain Roberts at the end, I think, standing next to the MI6 operative. I don't know who the person is, but kind of weird looking woman, I guess. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Rain Roberts last week screaming for a season 2. And the way I look at the views coming in now, they're lucky that this thing survives a year on Disney Plus once it runs its first course. I mean, maybe, the Twitter, the X-Errati, and the Blue Skies Errati will keep the acolyte on perpetual streaming so they can jack the numbers. But I honestly, I think this was a big waste of time. And I don't really understand why it got as far as it got. I mean, I do. I think I'm pretty much convinced that Headland having her in-house shell company within Disney London walls next to Andor and others, she was able to skim money off the top of all these productions to make her show. That's, in my opinion, obvious. And what's going on here is that normally, if you remember, Kathleen Kennedy would be protected. However, no one's protecting Headland or Kennedy here. You look at the dislikes on the main trailer, and the second trailer is 70% the last time I looked. And you look at the views steadily going down, just like all of Kennedy's movies, from a high to barely 130,000 views on the last one. Why? The fans don't want it. The fans never wanted it. And frankly, it pisses people off to have to even deal with it because it's not Star Wars. It's cheap, woke crap done on the cheap because they couldn't get the official go-ahead green light from Disney. So they pulled a Harvey Weinstein. And, when the big boss has to be reminded it's coming out, and she was the cabal leader in getting this trash fire made, that's bad for Ms. Weinstein here, okay? That's bad, all right? When you look at the views gradually going down for each video as the Star Wars channel puts them out there, that's bad, okay? Look, I don't expect any honesty from people like Pablo Hidalgo, who knows better but doesn't care because he's a leftist red diaper baby before he's anything else. I sure as fuck don't see it from Rain Roberts because she's probably a card-carrying member of Black Lives Matters, and she's deep down in her heart an anti-white racist, okay? But let's talk further about many things.
This is like what we understand to be Star Wars, like the idea that like that only came from George Lucas, that only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. And I think the prequels are an excellent example of that. I mean, the idea that like when you're hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the person who's going to know to hire Ralph McQuarrie, that's the problem. That's the misogyny and the problem with the auteur myth as it stands today, because they're not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people and this is the person that will be able to create the lookbooks and direct people to get them to that place. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? And the truth is that nobody does, and anybody that says they do.
I know that it can feel sometimes like, well, I like this thing and I don't like that thing, and if you don't like the acolyte, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Like the reality is that Star Wars in and of itself is not just a vast universe full of many different characters, many different eras, but it is always about the spiritual journey of what it is to become who you are. And that's why I am so overwhelmed and grateful to be here, and beyond overwhelmed and grateful to be allowed as a filmmaker to experience what it is like to actually tactilely make something in this world. That is beyond my wildest dreams, and I can't wait to show you guys more. I wish I could.
But one more crooked word. Your tongue could open a wine bottle.
As a an agent, it's not like she worships the devil.
Well, she doesn't have to. He worships her. Get out.
Be here all night.
Get out!
So we got to see the ignorance and the vacuousness of Leslie Headland during the interlude. And what I suggest is that we're going to get just exactly what she implied, and it's not going to be Star Wars. She has said they're trying to change it. And this is what happens with hiring a nihilist and someone who isn't very well read, I don't think. I don't, when I look at her, I don't think she's ever read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is definitely an easier read for people than, let's say, The Lord of the Rings. She spouts Hollywood cocktail talk, and she thinks that is basically gonna get her to work because she thinks she sounds smart, hip, and with it. But when you look at the financing of this travesty of a show, this, dare I say, atrocity coming our way, I have to say that she doesn't have anything to offer the fans. She doesn't have anything to offer, the franchise beyond parroting woke shit. Okay, and really, I mean, if she was the one that started the GoFundMe, Gina Carano GoFundMe, that is now in evidence in Gina's lawsuit, she's never, Leslie Headland when you look at her, she's never matured beyond the age of 15. I don't know. I mean, but if you look at these women who have fallen into feminism for, I would say for her, for convenience, because working for Harvey Weinstein and allowing what was going on to go on without, what the hell are you doing to him, tells me that she was very much into her job and her ambition, okay? But she's not creative, okay? Look at Russian Doll. It's Groundhog Day. There's nothing remarkable or creative or original about that. Bachelorette, it's more like, if you think about it, The Bachelorette's more like a cheap version of Sex and the City. Like, what was it? Girls? Was it the Lena Dunham dumpster fire TV show where that lovely, gorgeous, better looking than John Wayne, Adam Driver, got his start? And you think about it, and that these people are not, Lena Dunham is not original. Leslie Headland is not original. And what she's come here to do for Star Wars is to cause, in my opinion, cause trouble. Cause the change isn't because, it's a new story. It's politics. And, even if politics were part of the original trilogy, of course, Civil War, even if the politics were part of the prequels, which was how Palpatine came to power and how Anakin Skywalker fell to the dark side and became Darth Vader, they were stories that were masterfully told. This, you're going to get a non-binary trans woman, I think, who did stuff for MI6 during the lockdown, which then makes us all look at Leslie Headland and, Kathleen Kennedy and go, where'd you get the money? Who gave you the money to finish this shit? And don't lie and say it was Disney, because we know it wasn't, okay? We know we're going to get propaganda that is anti-white man. There are no white men in this because in Leslie's phony activism, white men are bad. Okay, again, if you need that confirmed, go look and see what she said about George. Okay, go look and see what she said about George. And the more she talks, the more people just walk away. And, there's a reason why. Okay, first off, the Force isn't female. Second of all, Star Wars is not a spiritual journey, okay? I would say George would go, no, it's the hero's journey, and it's about the Force, and you got the Force all wrong. Okay, now, Headland, who still probably thinks that George wasn't the one that hired Ralph McQuarrie. I think one of my people here asked out loud to me in Messenger if Kennedy misremembered her time working with George and told, Leslie Headland that she hired Ralph McQuarrie, which is called the Mandela effect. Okay. No, Kennedy didn't. The only person who hired Ralph McQuarrie was George Lucas. George Lucas is not a misogynist. He is not, Leia would not be who she was if George Lucas was a misogynist. But you've got Leslie Headland here, making this travesty, anti-white, woke, Lucas-hating shit and slapping Star Wars on it, okay? And the views for the trailers and the shorts and the clips gets lower and lower and lower and lower. And the dislike to like ratio, at least in the last one, doesn't even make it up past 8,000. Okay, just a little past 8,000. That's where the interest for the acolyte now lies. Now, you're going to have accounts like J. Tim Suggs on X and Star Wars Holocron on X, Darth Thunder, etc., screaming at you if you bring all this up. Screaming at you if you tell them truthfully, every movie Kennedy made started to lose money. All right, started to lose box office. Okay, now, I'll leave you with this. They're never going to say how they got the money to make the acolyte, unless they start rolling with Karen McCarthy and giving her what she wants. Okay, and that, as far as I know about that lawsuit, it is sitting there in the pause mode, just spinning, okay? We may never see the emails, but suffice it to say, all of this is connected. The acolyte is connected to what went on with Gina Carano, what went on with the OK for the High Republic, which, the whiteboard, really? Fucking dinosaurs? Are you kidding me? I'd have fired everybody right there and then. Get the fuck out of my office. Get this shit out of my office. You know, that would have killed the acolyte right there. That would have killed it. But Kennedy went along with it. Because, you know, maybe these two stupid women are trying to erase the fact that George Lucas, a white man, created Star Wars. I mean, you know, it sounds crazy, but when you look at the stuff that has come true, we know that she filmed an ending for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny where Indiana Jones just disappears from history and Helena Shaw takes his place. You know, we know that. It had to be refilmed. We know that, you know, she basically had Rian Johnson erase Luke Skywalker's heroism. Did the same thing to Han Solo. Did the same thing to Leia. And now we've got this travesty of a TV show coming, and they're trying to erase the sequel trilogy because they hate Anakin Skywalker. Blonde, blue-eyed white man. You know, the kind of guy Leslie Headland couldn't get if she paid him money and he was a gigolo. Okay? All right. You know, obviously there's something deeply disturbed about her. Just listening to her talk. She's using Hollywood cocktail talk to talk about George Lucas and how bad the prequels were when they weren't. All right? And now we've got this shit. And if you look at the reception the fans are giving it, it's already a failure. It is already dead. Okay? And they know it. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.